Hey everybody, thanks for joining me back here on the Roomy Alliance. This time taking a look at whether or not you should read Demonic Emperor. And depending on where you read it, it might have a different name, like The Servant is the Demon King, which is my personal favorite for it. Otherwise, you have some more choices. So if you have trouble finding it with Demonic Emperor or The Servant is the Demon King, you might try these, but I think the most common one of them is Magic Emperor, which I don't like very much. Now, if you want to know whether or not you should read it, in this case, it's a definite yes. But, if you want to know why, well, that's why I'm here. And that's why you should hit the subscribe and like button down below. It helps support the channel. Now that we've got that out of the way, and you are subscribed to my channel, we can answer the question, what is Demonic Emperor? Now, if you didn't already know coming here, that Demonic Emperor is a Chinese manhua, now you know. It's also going to be full color long strip, which is a pretty common thing for webcomics like this when they come over. It came out in 2019, still ongoing, current chapter that is out today, 232. The light novel is also still ongoing, so if you get caught up and you want to read more, there are over 1,000 chapters of the light novel to read. I think like 300 plus of those are actually translated and not just machine translated. And then you got the demographic here labeled as shonen, which is kind of not accurate because it's not Japanese manga. But boys, no, I don't think so. This is certainly for younger adults and not for kids. And then you got the genres action, adventure, fantasy, fits right in. And on top of that we have magic, martial arts, supernatural, which just means it's about cultivation, and then reincarnation on top of that. So, I'm going to give you my overall score here now, 9.5 out of 10, before I go in and break it down and explain why I scored it this way. And if you're wondering, yes, I would put this one in an S tier, above the vast majority of most of the crap you can read out there. Now I'm going to start off with the plot, because it's important. I gave it a 9.75, and you do not have to worry, I'm not going to cover anything that would be spoiled within the first 5 chapters here. And I'm starting with the plot first, just to clear up any conception that might exist about Demon King, since in Chinese manhua, it's usually a character who is going to cultivate demonic arts, and have nothing to do with raising demons or anything like you would see in Japanese manga or an isekai. And these demonic arts are usually going to be about cultivating the life force of other beings that you've probably killed or just killed in the process of sucking out their life force. It is evil cultivation, and in most of these stories are hunted down and killed because they're the bad guys, or just end up as interacting with the main character in an evil kind of way. But that is our main character, the evil character. Rewinding just a little bit in the story here, we go back to before the character dies now, and we see that as the Demon King, he was so powerful that even all of the other heroes ganging up on him, he's still strong enough that he can kill several of them. And this is important because it serves as sort of a foundation for our character, and explains why he's so overpowered. And, you know, he's so confident here in this scene that I think he would have been able to kill them all if his own disciple didn't stab him in the back and kill him. You know, power does crazy things to people. While that's going on in the immortal realm, the body that the Demon King is about to revive in is killed in a scheme, and he makes this pact with the leader of the Wuer clan in his dying breath. And then the Demon King inhabits the body and becomes this poor servant, and he obviously doesn't want to get involved in the struggles of the Wuer clan, and he tries to run away. However, he quickly realizes that the previous owner of the body made a spirit pact, or a spirit bond, with the leader of the Wuer clan, and now he is stuck honoring it, or else a powerful heart demon will appear and basically destroy all of his cultivation previous work and going forward, and prevent him from ascending into the immortal realm again, which is his goal. Which then forces him to have to care about the Luo clan, and instead of focusing on his own development like some of these other stories might do like it, this one is all about this guy unwilling and being forced to develop this clan that he has nothing to do with. It also means that the Luo clan is his number one weakness, because he can't just ignore it, or the heart demon. Next category here being cultivation, which I give a 9 out of 10, and that is because if you don't have any experience with this kind of genre, you might be left a little bit confused, although they do still cover a lot of the stuff, and I think it's well done, but it's kind of more focused on the main character being a cheat from reincarnating and having thousands of years of experience and knowledge of countless techniques that most people would not have. And what I've called Cultivation Plus here is all of the extra parts you would expect to find in one of these kinds of genres, and how well they do. So looking at a big list here, those extra parts would include alchemy, which this manhwa has the best alchemy tournament I have ever read in one of these. You got auctions, which are not present in this. There's also face slapping, which is making people look like asses, and putting their heads directly up their asses, I guess would be a good way of explaining that. And this character does a wonderful job of making the other characters hate him and thank him for it. And then after that we've got adventures, which the whole story is just one great big adventure. You might think that it's going to be just about the Luo clan or something. No, it is in fact all about the main character going on these adventures and just being a badass. Piggybacking off of adventures, we have treasures, which are these just high-grade, amazing items that everyone seeks out. And yes, it has this, and yes, they do end up in the main character's possession. After that, we have secret arts, which, as you could expect, is just handed by the fact that he's a cheat character and a reincarnator with the best skills possible. If we were to give this one a score for him being a reincarnator, I would say it garners a 9.5 out of 10. He does an excellent job of using his past knowledge, which you would expect him to, and that is why it gets a good score here. And you know you've done a good job of poning some noobs when their last words to you are, "Who the heck are you?" And everybody's constantly wondering how he has all this fantastic knowledge. Now, you might be thinking that a hero or a main character that has such an overpowered background would be a boring read, and I have read some of these reincarnator things that are that way, but in this case, the character makes more use of his knowledge and understanding to create schemes to deal with his enemies, rather than taking them on with brute force, which actually makes for a very interesting story in my opinion. Next, I'd like to mention the extra supporting cast for this one, which I also think the writers did an excellent job on creating here. As a schemer, our main character knows the, I would say, finer points of making friends and enemies, and, I mean, not spoiling anything, I don't think. There are 7 major houses in this one. I mean, the major families is kind of a recurring theme in this kind of stuff, but the intrigue, alliances, backstabbing, and all that stuff is really well done, and I love the way the main character interacts and works with these other characters in this one. World building. The good parts now. This, I think, is where this one really shines, and it comes from the main character starting out as the pinnacle of the immortal realm, and then dying, and then reincarnating again in the mortal realm. And without spoiling anything, yeah, he's not an isekai character. Those two worlds coexist in the same world that he lives in. And then in the mortal realm, there's also this, what I just mentioned earlier, fantastic work done on the Seven Houses, and then I didn't mention earlier the Emperor, and yeah, what can I say? There's a great story there. I understand that enjoyment can be a pretty subjective category, but I do think it is probably one of the most important ones. Now, I read all 200 plus chapters of this in 2 days because I was so into it, and I think what I find so refreshing about it is the fact that we have the world's, not even the world's, like multiple worlds' most powerful singular figure dying, reincarnating, and then being forced to YOLO all of his thousands of years of cultivation and experience on the Luo clan because of his failed reincarnation, or however that worked out at the beginning. And now he's just stuck writing it out. And you know what? He makes the best of it. And things aren't always easy for him because of this, where normally characters that are overpowered like this would just be overpowered and not really face any trouble. So adding this extra little bit to it, I think really refreshed it and made it great. If you made it this far, thank you. I appreciate you for watching, and if you haven't read this and you watch this to decide to read it or not, I hope it helps you decide. If you read it, let me know in the comments, or if you did watch this and you think I missed something important or whatever, throw it down there, of course. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.